Hi everybody, this is the Baseball High, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion, your host, the Hunter. Welcome back to the Baseball Hut 2. And hopefully you like this video and hit that subscribe button. So the Cubs, if you didn't know, are trying to win the National League Central. Or trying to make the postseason. And they are struggling of late. They got off to a 17-10 record to start the season. But since then, they've been struggling offensively, and things have not gone as well as they wanted. They've got this $400 million manager. They have a lot invested in this team, and they're looking to deal, and they're looking to probably deal to bring in some offensive production. But here we have from MLB trade rumors. Headline, Cubs Hoyer on deadline approach needs. 2024 Cubs surged out to a 17-10 start for the season's first month, turning in a plus 20 run differential, looking every bit like a favorite in the National League Central. And I would mention the Milwaukee Brewers have played really well, although they did get swept by the Phillies this past week. The script has flipped over the past month plus. However, as Chicago's gone 12-19 and allowed 25 more runs than they've scored in the 31 games since. They're now 6 games back of a Brewers club that holds a relatively commanding lead in the division. Thankfully for the Cubs and many other non-division leaders in the National League, the 2024 National League is rife with mediocrity thus far. Only 4 National League clubs have a winning record more than a third of the way through the season. Chicago's modest 30-31 standing on that season is actually enough to give them a 1-game lead for the third National League wildcard spot. With the Cubs still squarely in the playoff picture, and just under 8 weeks to go until the 2024 trade deadline, President of Baseball Operations Jed Hoyer is unsurprisingly looking ahead with a buyer's mentality. Longtime Cub exec chatted with the Athletics' Patrick Mooney about his team's recent play. Seeing that they've played poor baseball in a lot of ways, but expressing confidence that there's a turnaround on the horizon. Hoyer added that he's constantly looking to improve the team, our team, and more specifically lamented the lack of home run production on his squad. Quote, you need to be able to hit a homer at the right time, said Hoyer, and you need to be able to score in bunches. That's something we haven't done, especially early. You got to put pressure on the opposition, on the opposing manager. You've got to get into the bad part of the bullpen. We haven't done a good enough job. Cubs are a middle-of-the-pack team on the season as a whole with 60 home runs on the year. But over the past 30 days, Chicago's 24 homers are tied for 22nd in the majors. In that span, the Cubs ranked 29th in baseball with a .216 average, 21st with a .299 on-base percentage, and 28th with a .347 slugging percentage. The combined 23.7 strikeout rate is also the 6th highest in the majors. That is a bad combination. Digging in a bit further, the Cubs have seen strong production from Cody Bellinger over the past month. Ian Happ has hit for a low average with admittedly no PB, but shown plenty of power. It's been the inverse for Michael Busch, who's hit 189 flailed away with a 37% strikeout rate, but also has drawn walks in more than 1 of 5 plate appearances, keeping his batting line afloat with a strong on-base percentage. The rest of the roster has struggled all around at the plate, with particularly difficulty from Dansby Swanson and to a lesser extent double play partner Nico Horner over the past month. Both are premium defenders who are signed long-term, however, so neither will be displaced anytime soon. Bellinger has played some more first base recently in light of Busch's contact struggles, but that's left further questions in the outfield where Seiya Suzuki has struggled upon his return from the injured list, and Pete Crow Armstrong has yet to find his stride in a small sample of big league at-bats. I would mention about Crow Armstrong, prior to the Mets drafting him, there was a lot of question marks about whether he was going to hit. That he's a great defensive center fielder, but his ability to put the bat on the ball and hit was a major problem. This was when he was drafted. Over at third base, Christopher Morel has struggled on both sides of the ball recently, yesterday's home run notwithstanding. The Cubs' catching tandem of Yan Gomes and Miguel Amaya, meanwhile, has been one of the worst in baseball from an offensive standpoint, combining for a 176 batting average. Speculatively speaking, the most straightforward areas at which to add would be third base, catcher, or DH. A third baseman with some power and a solid glove would be particularly prudent. as it'll allow Morel to move to more of a DH-heavy role. There might not be many such hitters on the market, however, particularly if the Rockies stick to the reported desire to hang on to Ryan McMahon. If the Astros wind up selling, impending free agent Alex Bregman is a logical target. But Houston GM Dana Brown recently downplayed the notion that Houston would trade pieces away. Toronto GM Ross Atkins took a similar approach in suggesting trades of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette don't make any sense for his club. So obviously, and this has been rumored for over a year, that the Cubs talked to the Mets last trading deadline to improve their offense at first base, and the player they talked about was Pete Alonso. Now, the Mets were just sort of gauging to see what his value was, because they didn't know. Because what happened last year was the Mets talked to Pete on an extension. They were going to give him an extension, and Pete turned it down. I think it was 7 years, 150-something million, and Pete turned it down flat. And at that point, the Mets shopped Pete around to see what his value was. They didn't trade him, but the Cubs have liked him for a long time. All these Midwest teams love Pete. You know, the Brewers, the Twins, they and the Cubs, they all love Pete because of this power. It's a real lure for them. They need power hitters, a power hitter to help each of their lines. But the Cubs in particular are an interesting fit because they have a very good farm system. What kind of trade that would be, who knows? But you're not going to get a lot of players for Pete. If you're going to get a player of note, maybe it's a one-for-one player, let's trade Pete, you get their best prospect. Or the two best prospects or something like that. If you want to get the most value out of a Pete Alonso trade. He's not a premium position at first base. If you're the Mets, it's going to be very difficult to make a move for him and get the right kind of value for him. Well, you let me know what you think about this video. Of course, hit the subscribe button before you go, and I'll see you later.